Danny loves for me to read my own spots here, as it were. So right now we're going to talk about our next sponsor of the Idiots versus Idiots podcast is Big Man Gear. Big Man Gear is the big man, that's me, idea of a funny merch brand. You know what? You suck. Danny wrote this, of course. I just have to read it. It's very corny, dad jokey, and Generation X, not Boomer, meme on t-shirts for sale at Amazon Prime. You can currently buy the unapproved because Danny doesn't like it, but we don't care what he thinks. Idiots versus Idiots logo tee that Danny absolute hates. That is available at bigmangear.com, or you can go to your Amazon app and just type in Big Man Gear and you'll find the shirts and stuff like that. I will try to do a better job in the future of updating those shirts as we go along with some of the stupid crap that Danny says.
Okay. Well, we'll see about that because most of everything I say is genius because I'm a big brain.
You're at least told that by your mother.
Not really. My mom's more of a putting me in my place kind of guy.
All right, go ahead. What do we have next?
I think this is a super interesting story. Microsoft wants to buy Pinterest.
Well, okay, first of all, Microsoft wants to buy everyone. Everybody, anything that's an app or a web-based, cloud-based, they would love to just write you a check right now, today. They've talked to everybody. They've talked to TikTok, right? They've talked to everybody that they can. Here's what I really found interesting about this story, because Danny sent the story to me with that question mark, and I was like, I haven't heard this at all, that Microsoft wants to buy Pinterest. And what I learned by reading the story is two things. One, like I said, Microsoft wants to buy everybody. And two, that still as of 2021, Pinterest, as of last month, end of January, still has 460 million people using its website.
Yeah.
Who the hell? I don't know anybody that uses Pinterest.
I mean, your wife doesn't. I don't think you do, but your wife doesn't know.
No, my wife doesn't use Pinterest at all. I don't know anybody. Like, the only thing, look, there was a time where I get it, like, suburban housewives all across America were using it to share recipes and interior design ideas. And there was even a time and place where it was kind of being used by realtors for marketing and stuff like that. But that was years ago. And for Pinterest to still have 400 plus million unique users going to their website every single month is mind-boggling to me. But Microsoft, and I don't, look, and what I read is this is not a current thing. Microsoft's constantly reaching out to all.
Yeah, and listen, they tried to buy Pinterest at a $51 billion value.
Again, these valuations are crazy.
But the point of it was, just like you said, Microsoft Azure is a cloud player. They're a player in corporate or enterprise cloud, which is something that the average entrepreneur has no concept of, in the sense that the average American, we're not even a quarter of the way there.
No, but that's why Microsoft wants these companies. These are all companies it can run on its cloud service.
Right.
For next to nothing, a fraction of pennies to run. And like, Pinterest makes sense to me from a twofold. One, again, they can acquire it even for billions of dollars at an overinflated rate and get these users and the data of these users. And two, currently Pinterest is ran on Amazon Web Services, AWS, so they would not only be purchasing something that cost them next to nothing to run, but they would be acquiring something from a competitor. They would be acquiring market share.
Yeah, that's what the play is. And it looks like there's an update to the story, because we prepped these. I shouldn't say we. I prepped these stories well in advance.
Yep.
Update to the story. Talks didn't go well. Microsoft isn't going to buy them. But the point is, when Microsoft attempted to buy TikTok's Western Hemisphere business. Because they weren't going to buy the entire company. It was just going to be the users in a bunch of different countries: New Zealand, Australia, the U.S., I think India also.
Places that made sense, big markets.
it probably just got their mind rolling about like, hey, what other businesses we buy that would serve to, because here's all they're doing. They're buying market share from AWS. Because AWS has a chokehold on the industry. A lot of it just has servers. It just has the space, right?
Right.
So Azure is trying to grow and compete in this industry because listen, a lot of tech companies that got into this business, like Hewlett Packard's entire business is enterprise cloud, right? Mm-hmm. Not their entire business. They still sell laptops and stuff, but a lot of their business is enterprise cloud and enterprise service. So they're also relocating to Texas, by the way. But the point is, this is such a huge industry. And like I said, like if I had a couple $200,000 sitting around in cash, I'm not going to go try to buy a piece of real estate with it. Well, I'm not going to try to buy a house or residential real estate. I'm going to go try to find somewhere where I can set up a server farm, because it's not that, and what people don't maybe not understand is a lot of these server farms are owned and operated by third parties. You just call up Azure, you just call up AWS, and they go, oh, okay, yeah.
You have to think of it as virtual real estate, right? And that's what, look, people don't understand this. If I say, okay, hey, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say Amazon? You think delivery to my house every other day, right? Or whatever, all the products that they sell.
Well, but maybe at your house it's every other day.
Yeah. Well, their most profitable business is AWS. Yeah. By a lot. Their most by a lot. Like that's the number one by a lot. And it's because it's very low cost to maintain, and it's virtual real estate. That same server can be used for 1 billion different apps at any given time, depending on what it's being used for. And it's it's virtual real estate. And all I need to do to have more real estate, because the old saying is, the reason you can buy real estate in the world and it always goes up in value is because there's only a certain amount. That doesn't exist in the virtual space, right? Another server gives me another world for people to buy, and on and on and on and on. If the world keeps spinning the way it's spinning, and this kind of goes back to the reason, they can get a $50 billion valuation for, Rivian, and the reason Microsoft they paid LinkedIn $26 billion, ZeniMax $7.5 billion. Right. The reason that is the case is because if the world keeps spinning the way it's currently spinning and the way we use technology and stuff like that, it's only going to penetrate our lives more, not less. Right. And in that world, in that virtual world that we're all growing more and more, that we become reliant on, we're recording this podcast from two completely different places.
Correct.
That is really the investment in the real estate of the future. That's what they're doing. They want to be the biggest players in what you utilize. It's the what's the movie, the cartoon movie with the little robot?
WALL-E?
Yeah, WALL-E. It's WALL-E. Remember how everything has B&G on it, right? Everything's B&G. The Walmart's B&G. And where you get your drink is B&G. Everything's B&G. This is Microsoft, Google, and Amazon's ball, right?
Yeah, it really.
They're all fighting to be that company of the future.
There's a cloud player out somewhere in Texas, San Antonio, and partly in Austin too. I can't remember their name off the top of my head. But I just don't think that...
something Stack or something like that. They started out in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And then they grew into Austin, but I think they were bought out.
Were they?
Yeah, I think they were bought out. I remember that, but I think they were bought out because at one point they were going to use... what's the mall here in Northeast Austin that?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
They were gonna literally buy that mall because it was empty.
The Homestead,
right?
or something. It's a Homestead.
Yeah, they were gonna buy it and use it as a new company headquarters and server farm. And then it ended up getting turned into a community college instead, I think, because that company got bought. But anyway, the point is look, server rooms and companies have always been the most expensive price per square foot. Right? And that was just on the company. We're just now doing it worldwide. And, as we talked about, rack space, that's what it is. Yeah. But as we turn around and we move forward, our podcast last week or week before last was about Starlink, right? more people getting online at quicker speeds, that's just even better.
Right.
Those same servers right there in California can link up through Starlink to anybody anywhere in the world and provide them their home cooking techniques by Martha Stewart. I'm sure that's really helpful in, deep woods Australia, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, by the way, the big man is incorrect. Rackspace, in fact, is not. They're not going to acquire it to go public.
Oh, is that what happened? Sorry, I apologize.
It's fine.
I'm
you
an
don't know
idiot,
what you're
of
talking
course.
about most of the time. That's to be expected.